We have, at this moment, just a little over a month before the final votes will be cast on November 5th, and this election cycle will be over. At least the voting and campaigning part of it, that is. But we're almost at the finish line, folks. And Donald Trump right now is suffering tremendously among a vital demographic that he has to have to win. But before I get to that demographic, let me explain something to you. Donald Trump right now, given the way the polls are looking, cannot afford to lose any support, literally any, from the Republican Party itself. He not only has to get the entire Republican Party to support him, but he also has to win over a hefty number of undecided, moderate, independent voters. And that, of course, is the group that he is struggling with right now. But it's a very particular subset of those two groups, the Republican base and moderate voters. It happens to be Nikki Haley supporters. Now, we all know that Nikki Haley came out a few months ago and wholeheartedly endorsed Donald Trump, even though she really hasn't been doing it enthusiastically. And there were reports about 2 weeks ago that the Trump campaign reached out to Haley to start doing some events with him. And that, of course, didn't come to fruition, but she endorsed him nevertheless. However, her supporters, including the higher-ups who worked on her campaign, are now coming out in droves and endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris. Let me read you this. This is based on a report from Politico. Former state campaign chairs for Haley's now defunct presidential bid are increasingly coming out against the former president, including Utah Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, who declined Monday to endorse Donald Trump, and in several other states, they are endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris over Trump, including in Iowa and Michigan. Former Maine Republican Representative David Emery cut right to the chase by telling Politico, quote, "Most of us are pretty disgusted with Trump and think he would be a disaster, and if you really believe that, then you can't sit on the sidelines." The report goes on to note that Haley, despite her endorsement of the former president, who memorably called her bird brain, has not been overly effusive in her praise of her party's nominee, recently telling a reporter, quote, "I have issues with him as well. I have not forgotten what he said about me. I've not forgotten what he said about my husband or his, deployment time or his military service. I haven't forgotten about his or his campaign's tactics from, putting a bird cage outside our hotel room to calling me bird brain. I haven't forgotten any of that." No, you just decided to put your pride aside and endorse him anyway when you didn't even have to do that? So Nikki Haley herself seems like she is still nursing that grudge, as she should be, but it's her voters. Now, this article specifically, of course, is talking about the leaders of her now defunct campaign. But a couple weeks ago, another report came out showing that a large number of Haley voters have decided they're not going to vote for Donald Trump either, and they have formed their own group, Haley Voters for Harris. And this comes as Donald Trump cannot afford to lose any support. He has to have a unified Republican coalition and still win over undecided voters. And if he can't even do that with the people who are already Republicans, then how the hell is he supposed to do that with people who do not identify with either party? How is he supposed to do that with people that are on the fence? Maybe yes, maybe no. Those weirdos. I mean, honestly, at this point, don't get mad that I called the undecideds weirdos. If you've looked at both of these people, Harris and Trump, and you can't make up your mind, then that's a problem with you, not with the candidates, right? Like, let's be real about it. Y'all are just doing this for the attention at this point. Sorry, somebody had to say it, and I had to be the one to do it. But either way, Trump is in trouble. Again, little over a month, and he is losing support from his own Republican coalition. And Nikki Haley, for her part, she may have endorsed him, but she sure as hell isn't doing anything to get her supporters to go cast their ballots for Donald Trump. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena, and Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.